Man, how is everyone doing today? Pretty awesome day today. It's a little overcast here in sunny Florida, but that's okay. All right, it's weather's nice, not too hot today, and it's all good. But anyway, listen. Yesterday, it was the day before yesterday, I posted a video about modern culture, creativity, that sort of thing. And then got around the some people commenting and had some conversation with some friends and other people about it, and talking about people changing, and is it possible for someone like Kanye to change or whatever. And I don't know about that. Okay, all I know is that right now he seems like he's changed, and for someone that's changed and proclaiming to be changed, to be as public as they are with what they're producing, and in an area where they make their living, where they make their money, and to be so vocal and proclaiming that change like that is pretty impressive. But so one of the things that kind of came to my mind just around that whole subject was also in the area of a lot of people over the last couple of years, 3 years or so. You've had a lot of people defecting from the Democrat Party, and more or less saying, well, no, I don't want to be a follower of the Democrats. And some, have become Trump followers, and others not. They're, more independent thinkers and that sort of thing. But, some are even changing like their lives and that sort of thing. But the major thought that came to me today is from a story in the Bible where it talks about a person cleaning their house out, and where there were, demons and stuff like that. And so they cleaned their house out, and the demons left. But they were sitting in their house, in a beautiful, clean house now. But that's all they did. In other words, they cleaned out the house, got it all perfect, but never did anything after surveying where they were at. And so they just kind of were and existed. So what happened is, the people, the demons that were there or whatever, were observing, and they said, oh, okay. So they wanted back in, but they didn't just want back in just for them. They went and they gathered a bunch of their other friends, a legion, it says, which that's a boatload of demons. Okay. And they went back in to that home, and there was nothing that the owner of the home could do to stop it, because it was overwhelming. And so that the state at the end was worse than at the first. And so why am I saying this? Listen, people, when you make a change, like say leaving the mind control of the pop culture of the Democratic Party, liberals. I'm not going to say Democratic Party because I know some decent Democrats, but I'm just talking about the whole liberal agenda, the programming that you've seen on TV news, in editorial, in magazines, movies, shows, TVs, all this sort of stuff. And you don't put in its place things that are going to lift you up, or practices that are going to not only lift yourself up, but lift other people up and bring them along, you're going to have detractors that that don't agree with the changes that you've made, and they're saying, well, that's not going to last. So these people are going to come after you, and they're going to come and attack you, and they're going to bring others with them. It could be family members, it could be friends, these sort of things, to get you to come back under the control. And then it's going to be even worse, because you've let yourself get trapped into that system again. So don't let that happen. You know, you gotta replace what you are removing with things that are good, because if you don't, you run the risk of making poor choices or going back to where you were. And I say this from personal experience myself and certain things that I've tried to do in my life. Um, and I know, the pain that it can cause you personally, and with those that you love. And so I say this as, in love, and it's a warning. Things are changing. Things are different. You can't. You see what's happening in our government now, and whether you think President Trump did something illegal or not, that's your decision to make altogether. But one thing that I do notice is that everything is aligned, and those that are aligned against him they're doing things in a way that are not right, and then they're being supported by people that are, if you were honest, you would say that they're not of the best character. And so, why attack a person like that? And especially without there being any more or less foundation. So, we need to observe that, because this is how this whole system is rigged. Now I've been seeing this for decades myself, and I see it really coming to a head right now. And if with the SJW agenda, with uber liberalism, that sort of thing, if anyone is trying to control you, all right, and I don't care if they're a Democrat or a Republican, if anyone is trying to control you and tell you what to think, tell you what to say, then they're not a friend of yours, because you should be given and afforded the right to create your own decisions about things, to come up with your own decisions about things, to be well informed. Don't allow yourself to be tricked. And myself as a believer, as a Christian, I love God, I love Jesus. I'm excited that someone of Kanye's talent and gravitas is out there doing things. And if you yourself are a creative person, you need to do something out here. If you have a lot of creativity, you need to bring it out to the marketplace, because there is an audience there that is thirsting for this sort of thing. They're thirsting for something different, but something that makes them feel good in the end. I had a friend of mine that watched the video that I put up, and they made a video themselves based on it, talking about hope and hopefulness. There's not a lot of that. There's really not a lot of that hope and hopefulness. We've been conditioned to think that there is no hope. That's why you have personally, I believe there's a lot of mental illness that is created by this constant drumbeat of, oh, no hope, it's hopelessness, you can't be better, this is your life as it is, and all these sort of things. And it messes with your mind, and especially when you start at such a fragile age and you start breaking the psyche of children, and they grow up to be codependent adult, or they end up being dependent on things that they deem bigger than themselves. A lot of times they think it's the government that can help them out, whether it be through financial support or by laws that will protect them, and so we're living in a culture that in a certain sense supports you being fragile, and doesn't really encourage you to be strong and strengthen yourself. And I understand that there's fragility out there, and there's people that are hurting, and I'm not saying that to disregard that and be cold, because if you're a strong person, you should be able to hold up the weak. But what I'm talking about is this constant drumbeat over the last couple of decades that has produced what we are seeing now in these people that get so triggered so easily. Why are they so offended so easily? A lot of it has to do because they're just not strong. They're not strong mentally and emotionally, and they've been crafted that way. So, it's a lot to think about here, and a lot for myself to think about, what I'm going to do going forward. But I hope that this was encouraging to you in some way and maybe gives you something to think about. But it's Cesar Feliciano's channel. By all means, please like, share, and subscribe the video. And please comment if you have anything to say. I found out something really interesting. Someone posted on my previous video that I'm going to look into, which is pretty fascinating. So something about the Finland doctrine or something like that. So I'm going to be looking into that to see what that whole methodology of thought is. This person says that SJWism kind of like came from that. So I'm going to look at that. That's going to be great. But once again, remember, like, share, subscribe, comment. Thank you very much, everybody. You have a great day and be blessed. And Jesus is King and God does love you. Peace out.